thought in my mind, and that's the reason why I'm kind of hesitating. Let's see. Hold on a second. I got to make an adjustment real quick because I got the wrong title on this screen here. All right. Let's see. Hold on. I got to correct the title on this screen here. Let's see. Okay, something like that. All right, so with that said, let's see. Let's go ahead and get started. We got a lot to cover in a little bit of time, so I'm going to move fast. So let's go over to 1 Corinthians chapter 12 and verse 9. All right, 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 9. To another, faith by the same Spirit, to another gifts of healing by the same Spirit. So we are on the gift of faith. Okay, now for those of you that y'all know how I operate, faith is a pagan deity. Let's just call it what it is. So what we're going to do is we're going to give a definition. The word in Hebrew for faith is Emunah. Emunah. So in this lesson, we are going to give a clear and concise meaning to the word Emunah, or what the world calls faith. So when we're finished with this lesson, prayerfully, you'll have no doubt in your mind what the gift of Emunah or faith is. Okay. Now, if we look at this word here for faith, or in the Greek, we'll see this word pistis. Pistis. Okay. Pistis. Pistis is the Greek word that they use to translate or translate the word faith from, okay, which means persuasion, credence, conviction of, it says here in parentheses, religious truth. We're not going to deal with that word religion, or truthfulness of Elohim, of a religious teacher, especially the reliance upon the Messiah for salvation, abstractly constancy in such professing, by extension the system of religious truth or the good news. Okay, now, so what are we saying here? If we look at the definition of this word, let's go kind of backwards. What is the word constancy? Okay, constancy. Let me get my Google here. I've come to love Google. Google's got some great revelation and knowledge. What is constancy? She's not going to talk now. The quality of being faithful and dependable. So, by definition, what people call faith, they say believe, but actually it is, what did she say? It is being faithful or dependable. The question we got to ask is, if you have the gift of faith, then what are you faithful to? Because we're taught we're not saved by works, we're saved by grace through faith. If faith is defined as a constancy, in which she says constancy means to be faithful and dependable, right? Now, let's do this right quick. Let's look up this word constancy. in the let's look it up in the American Heritage Dictionary, okay? Let me blow this up right quick. Is it getting bigger? Oh. It's not getting bigger. Oh, there we go. Ooh, I done messed up. What I done did. Oh, my mercy. I done messed up. I done made it too big. Hold on. I'm messing up on my screen. Let's see. I don't know how I did that. Uh-oh, I done messed up. Something's wrong. Oh, my mercy. I done did. I done messed my screen up. I can't see how to. It probably doesn't look. Does it look crazy on the internet?
This is what I see.
That's what you see?
Right now.
Oh, my mercy. I got my screen. My screen is playing tricks on me. Oh.
Oh, it's I'm behind.
Oh, man, I done messed up big time. What I done did. Oh, man. How do I get out of this mess? I tried to make it big and made everything big. It made my software big. It made my. Let's see. Hold on a second. Okay, there we go. Whew, I don't know what I did, man. I hit something on this keyboard. It went crazy. Okay. Hold on, brothers and sisters. Man, I'm telling you. I'm trying to make the American Heritage big, and I'd have made my other monitor big. Okay. All right, let's see if I can do this right. Let's try to do this right. Okay. There we go. Okay. Whew, man, I don't know what I did. Okay, prayerfully y'all can see that. Okay. Okay, so constancy is defined as steadfastness as in purpose or affection, faithfulness, the condition or quality of being constant, changelessness. Okay, so that tells us what? That this word doesn't mean what we was taught it means. Faith means to be consistent. As we read here, it means to be steadfast. It means to be in purpose. Now, I like that because it's taking me somewhere now. What does it say? Be steadfast, unmovable. Be steadfast. It says be steadfast, unmovable. Hold on a second. Right, 1 Corinthians 15:58. That's what came to my mind. It says be steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of Yah, for as much as you know your labor is not in vain. That's Yahshua saying that. So what is he saying? Be steadfast and be unmovable, always abounding in the work of Yah. Why? If we're not saved by works, why would you work? Right? So somebody lied to us because the word faith does not mean just believing. All right. By definition of the word so far, the word constancy means to work. All right. So then it says, now going backwards, it says what? Truth. truth. The Messiah said with regards to truth, let's go over to John chapter 4. Remember Yahshua met the woman at the well? John chapter 4 and 23, it says what? The hour comes and now is when the true worshipers will do what? The true worshipers will worship the Father in spirit and in truth. All right. So we see that word truth. The word for truth is the word avarice. It says as not concealing. So when something is not concealed, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I'm behind, slightly behind.
Okay. They said they should be able to hear me now.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay. So I don't know what you missed, what I said, but so the word, the Messiah said that to rely upon, the word pistis or faith means to rely upon the Messiah for salvation. I said, how do you rely upon the Messiah for salvation? Okay. Using the words of the Messiah, let's see what the Messiah said. So let's go to John chapter 14. All right. John chapter 14. These are the words of the Messiah. Okay, chapter 14 and verse 15. The Messiah said, if you love me, keep my commandments. See that? He said, if you love me, keep my commandments. All right. Isn't that the same thing that we read in Exodus 19? Keep, if you obey my voice indeed and keep my covenant. So the covenant is the commandments. But see, we was taught to believe that the commandments and the covenant is not the same thing. But he says, if you love me, keep my commandments. Okay. Now, let's go to John 15 and 10. All right. What did the Mashiach say there? He says it again. If you keep my commandments, you shall abide in my love, even as I have kept my Father's commandments and abide in his love. Then he kicks it out and says, these things have I spoken to you, that my joy might remain in you, and that your joy might be full. And this is the commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. Okay, now, question. Is that a new commandment? Love. We know it's not, because love, if we go to Leviticus, I believe it's 19, we'll find out. We can go to Exodus 20, where the Most High says, let's look at that verse 20. Exodus 20, Most High said, showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. See, he's showing mercy and love to those that love me and keep my commandments. So we see that love is not something new. Okay. Now, let's go right here real quick to I think it's Leviticus 19. Okay, Leviticus 19 says, thou shalt not avenge nor bear grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. See that? Now, if we go to Deuteronomy 6 and 5, we'll see, and please write these verses down, because this is going to debunk any false teaching that love is a new commandment. That's why we're doing this, to show you that love is not a new commandment. Okay. Deuteronomy 6 and 5 says what? Let's read verse 4 and 5 together. Hear, O Israel, Yahweh Elohim is Akkad, one. Yahweh, and thou shalt love Yahweh thy Elohim with all thy heart, and with all thy nephesh, and with all thy might. These words which I command thee this day shall be in thine heart. See, the Messiah said what? If you love me, keep my commandments. Are they new commandments? We see right now that it's not, because we see that the Most High gave love in the book of the law, which is not a new commandment. The first time we see it was when he called them out of out of Egypt. He said the same day they went into the wilderness of Sinai, and he said to them what? I am Yah, your Elohim. Thou shalt have no others before me. Right? He said, I am a jealous Elohim, visiting the iniquities of the fathers to the children, to the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. Right? And showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. See that? Now, let's look at some more places. Let's go to 1 John 2 and 3 and 4. 1 John, since we're talking about the spirit of the gift of Emunah or faith, and we're showing you the reason why we're going through this, because we're showing you that you can't have the spirit of Emunah without having the love for the truth and having what? A consistency or a steadfastness in his commandments. If you don't have that, then you don't have faith. What you got is a belief. All right? Or a good thought, or an emotion. Because a lot of people say, well, I know the Lord works through me because I did this. And well, yeah, tell me something new. Satan it says Satan will perform lying wonders. So how do we know that you aren't an agent of Satan? Because you had miracles performed through your hands. How do we know the difference? We're going to show you how we know the difference, right? That's why we got this book. All right, so let's go to 1 John. What did I say? 1 John 2 and 3. It's cold outside. I can feel it. Still this temperature's still raising up, isn't it? You want to crank that up to medium? Yeah. It's cold today, saints. We were spoiled. Yesterday was nice and hot, but today it is cold. Woo. I feel the cold on my legs. I should have my little heat blanket on my legs today. We got the heat on, but it's cold. Okay, now, 1 John 2 and 3. All right. 1 John 2, chapter 2, and verse 3 and verse 4. Okay. Let's read verse. Let's read verse. Yeah. Verse 3 says, Hereby we know him. How many of y'all heard people say, I know the Lord. Oh, I know the Lord, right? He says, hereby we know that we know him if we keep his commandments. So when you say you have faith and don't keep his commandments, then you are a liar. He says, hereby we know that we know him if we keep his commandments. He that says, I know him and keep not his commandments is a liar, and the truth is not in him. Okay. But whosoever keepeth his word, see, that's what these so-called prophets said. We prophesying the word of the Lord. No, you're not. You're prophesying your dream. My Isha told me that earlier this week. What was it? People prophesy their dream, or prophesy what? What was it? Their prayer. That's what it was. She said the spirit, the Ruach came on her, and she said something profound to me. And I was like, would you record that for me? She didn't record it. Well, I got it. When the Ruach speaks, I hear it. She said that these people prophesied their prayer. That's why they prophesied John that Donald Trump would get a second term. All right. Now, my sister said, would you explain 1 John 2 and 8? Okay, let's see. Let's read down to it. OK. Whosoever keeps, verse 5, the word in him verily is the love of Yah perfected. Hereby know we that we are in him. Right. He that says he abides in him ought himself also to walk even as he walked. Okay, I see where you're going. Brethren, I write no new commandment to you, but an old commandment which you had from the beginning. The old commandment is the word which you have heard from the beginning. Again, a new commandment I write unto you, which thing is true in him and in you, because the darkness is past and the true light now shineth. So, again, a new commandment, which is kind of, okay, so if you look at that, it appears to be a contradiction, wouldn't you say? Mm-hmm. Because it says, verse 7 says, this is not a new commandment. And then he says, a new commandment I write to you, right? Okay. Now, what causes the confusion is this word new. Because many Israelites look and say, well, we're not under the old covenant, we're under the new covenant. Okay. Question you've got to ask is it new or is it renewed? See, because in the Hebrew, the word is repair. It's the same word in Hebrew that we see new moon, right? when you look up in the sky each 30 days, it says the new moon. Do you see something brand new? Or do you see the moon going through its repaired stages? See? So the Brief Kadash, which the world calls the new covenant, is not something new that's never been done before, but it is simply just a renewal. What was the renewal? When Yahshua came in the flesh and did what? She said, so replace the word new with repair. That's the Hebrew mindset of what new means. Repair. It's like when you've been married and then you go and you renew your vows. After, 50 years? Or however long, 25 years of marriage, we're going to renew our vows, right? That's all. It's just a renewal, right? The moon is there's not a new moon, meaning a fresh, brand spanking new moon every month. It's the same moon that's going through various phases. It refreshes, it repairs itself. It's just kind of like we did a lesson years ago when I was in Chicago on CAN TV. We talked about what renewal means. It's like these garments, right? They get dirty, right? So what do? We refresh them. We renew them. This is not a new top. This top, once I put it in the washing machine, it becomes renewed, refreshed, repaired, right? Until it gets worn. You got the waxing and the waning of the new moon. Once it becomes waxing and waning, then it becomes renewed, right? So in the Western mindset, when you see new, you think something brand spanking fresh, like never happened before. Case in point, to prove the point, let's go to Jeremiah, Yahoo, chapter 31, I believe it is. Was it 31? All right. Where it says, I will make a new covenant. All right. 31. Is it 31 and 31, I believe? Yeah, 31. All right. Let's look at it. Behold, the days come, says Yahshua, that I will make a new covenant. See that? New covenant. All right. So you got the word new, which is Kadash. And then you got the word covenant, which is Berith. So you say Kadash Berith. Khalash. Kha. Berith, which is covenant. Berith. Chadash. All right. I've been rebuked and corrected by some people say it's not brief Kadash, it's brief Hadashah. Maybe in the Jewish vernacular it might be Hadashah. But in the Hebrew tongue, it is we see the word here, like my name, Chazak. CH is pronounced like the mother of all living, right? Let me show you something. We learned something on the way to learning something, right? This is relevant in understanding how to pronounce these words, right? So we look at Genesis right quick and chapter 3. Okay, when Adam named his wife, and many Israelites get this wrong. Where it says he named his wife Eve. Is it chapter 3? Hold on a second. All right. I got the wrong thing. I want this. Eve. Okay. Okay, yeah, verse 20, verse 23 and 20. Adam, this is Adam, called his wife. See that it says Eve? See that it says Eve? Now, you got to question this, brothers and sisters, because Eve, in no form at all, is relevant to the name that she was called. How do you get Eve out of that? It says her name was Ha, and you got two V's. So now, just a little learning something. In the Hebrew, there is no V. That's Germanic Hebrew called Yiddish. In the ancient Hebrew, the V is a W sound. A Wa. So you got Ha, Wa. Right? So now, with that understanding that Ha is pronounced Ha. Right? Now we go back to the word for new covenant. We see the word now, Chadash. All right. Chadash means, it says, from the root of Chadash is 2318, which 2318 is Chadash, which means to be new, to rebuild. See that? So you are rebuilding. We are rebuilding our relationship with the Most High. And how are we rebuilding it? By getting back on track and doing what? Obeying His commandments. It's just that simple. So, in other words, believing on Yahshua is putting us back in the place where the Most High brought us out of Egypt, and the self same day in the wilderness and said, if you will obey my voice indeed and keep my covenant, I will make you a kingdom of priests and a Kodesh nation. So that's believing for salvation, that we are believing because the Messiah came in the flesh to do what? To enable us to be engrafted back into the olive tree. Shaul alludes to that in Romans. Let's go to Romans right quick. All right, Romans 11. Romans 11. All right. We're still talking about what it means to have the gift of faith. All right. And faith is believing, relying on this particular portion of the definition, relying on Yahshua for salvation. Okay. Now, incidentally, the word salvation in Hebrew is Yahshua. I'm going to show it to you in a second. All right. But let's get back. Okay, so Romans, what I want to show you in Romans is I want to show you that Romans 11 and 20. All right. I'm glad I'm making it clear, because that's the whole thing. You know, we can be real deep and try to, appear like we got some knowledge. We can make it simple. That's the whole thing. The word of Yah is simple, right? We make it simple, but people make it complicated, right? Okay, so it says Romans 11 and 20. Let's read a little bit of that. Well, because of unbelief, they were broken off, and thou standest by. See, oh, there it is again. Thou standest by. This is going to explain it. What faith is. Thou standest by faith. Be not high-minded, but fear. For if Elohim spared not the natural branches, take heed lest he also spare not thee. Behold, therefore, the goodness and the severity of Elohim on them which fell severity. but towards the goodness, if thou continue in the goodness, right? Otherwise thou shalt be cut off. See that? So the Most High told the Gentiles, if you continue in the goodness, and the turning point was what? When those who were believers flipped from obeying and following the commandments to living by grace alone and disobeying and using grace as a license to say we don't have to obey the law. That's the turning point, right? He said, if you continue in the goodness, okay? If you continue, where was I at?
22.
Right, if you continue in goodness, otherwise thou shalt be cut off. Verse 23. And they also, if they abide not still in unbelief. So we got to stop and ask. The opposite of faith is unbelief. So what is unbelief? Watch this now. Well, if it says, and they also, if they abide not still in unbelief, shall be grafted in. For Elohim is able to graft them in again. For if thou were cut off out of the olive tree, which is wild by nature, and was grafted contrary to nature into a good olive tree, how much more shall these which be the natural branches be grafted in their own olive tree? Right? So, what are you saying? Look at the next verse. For I would not, brethren, that you should be ignorant of this mystery, lest you should be wise in your own conceits, that blindness, right, is happened to Israel until the fullness of the Gentiles come in. So, what is he saying? What is that blindness? A heart of disobedience. He says that, I think, in the same chapter, up top, I think he said, hold on a second, let me make sure. Nope, I'm wrong. That's in one of his other letters where he talks about an evil heart of disobedience. Okay, wait a minute, hold on a second. Shaul says a whole lot of things. Okay, let's see. That's Hebrews. Okay, now let's get back in here. So that's what the Most High, to believing on Yahshua for salvation, is being grafted back into the olive tree by doing what? Obeying his commandments. Right? Now, if we go back to, let's go back to 1 John. Prayerfully, we clear that up, right, Sister Lynn? Okay, now let's go 1 John 3 and 22. All right, 1 John 3 and 22. All right, 1 John, one-eyed John this time. Okay, 3 and 22. All right. It reads on this wise. And whatsoever we ask, we receive of him, because we keep his commandments and do those things that are pleasing in his sight. So faith, we see here again, is what? Keeping his commandments and doing what? The things that are pleasing in his sight. Shaul did say, no one in the flesh, whoever's in the flesh cannot please Elohim. Right. In the works of the flesh. But if we walk in the spirit, we won't fulfill the lust of the flesh. And walking in the Spirit is walking in agreement with the commandments. It's no different. All right. Whatsoever we ask, we receive of him, because we keep his commandments, and these commandments we keep his commandments and do those things which are pleasing in his sight. Okay. Now, we can continue reading that out. And this is his commandment, that we should believe on the name of his son, Yahshua HaMashiach, and love one another as he gave us commandment. And he that keepeth his commandments dwells in him, and he in him. And hereby we know that he abideth in us by his Spirit, which he hath given us. All right. So we have that. Now let's go over to 1 John 5 and 2. So go to chapter 5. And we're going to read verse 2 and 3. All right. 1 John 5, 2 and 3. By this we know that we love. Let's read verse 1. Whoever believeth that Yahshua is the Messiah is born of Elohim, and everyone that love him that begat love him also that is begotten of him. By this we know that we love the children of Elohim, when we love Elohim and keep his commandments. See that? Isn't that wonderful? For this is the love of Elohim, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous. So if you got any doubt about whose commandments he's talking about, he said he made a distinction between him and the Father. All right. So he said, for this is the love of Elohim, that you keep his commandments, and the commandments are not grievous. For whatsoever is born of Elohim overcome the world. And this is the victory that overcome the world, even our what? Faith, which we have defined that faith is obeying the commandments. We're going to show you in Hebrews in a minute. We're going to open this can of worms up, right? All right, verse 5. Who is he that overcome the world, but he that believed that Yahshua is the Son of Elohim? Okay, that's all we want to read on in that. I don't want to go off and continue to read, because we're going to go into another thought process, and I'm not trying to do that right now. Okay, so let's go over to 2 John. All right, this is 2 John, chapter 1 chapter in 2 John. And verse 6. Let's start at verse 4. 2 John, 2 John 1 and verse 4. I rejoice greatly that I found of thy children walking in truth. See that? They're walking in truth. What's the truth they're walking in? Watch this now. As we have received the commandment from the Father. Oh, so the commandments from the Father. That's even clear. That's more clear, right? That the commandment is from the Father. See how simple it is when you read it? The commandment is from the Father. Verse 5. And now I beseech thee, lady, not as though I wrote a new commandment unto thee, but that which we had from the beginning, that we love one another. Love thy neighbor as thyself was from the beginning of the formation of the nation of Israel. When he says from the beginning, he's talking about the self same day that Israel came out of Egypt. He's not talking about from the beginning of Yahshua's ministry. He's talking about from the beginning, when the covenant was made with Israel, the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in Mount Sinai. All right. Does that make sense? That's the beginning. All right. Verse 6. And this is love, that we walk after his commandments. This is the commandment, that as you have heard from the beginning, you should walk in. Here you go. Here's the kicker. For many deceivers are entered into the world. See, we're not under the law, brother. We're under grace. We can't keep that law. So you got what? You got the preterists, the preterists, those that follow the doctrine of preterism. I call them preterists. Those that follow the doctrine of Calvinism, the doctrine of 5 points of Calvinism that says what? You can't keep the law. So we're saved by grace alone. That's where that doctrine came from. All right. So he said, verse 7, many deceivers are entered into the world, who confess not that Yahshua is come in the flesh. This is a deceiver and an anti-Mashiach. Verse 8, he says, look to yourselves that we lose not those things which we have wrought, but that we receive a full reward. Whoever transgressive and abideth not in the doctrine of the Mashiach. He said, whoever transgress and abide not in the doctrine of the Mashiach have not Elohim. I didn't say it. The apostle of Yahshua HaMashiach said it out of his mouth. Whoever abide not in the doctrine of the Mashiach have not Elohim. He that abideth in the doctrine of the Mashiach, he have both the Father and the Son. And if there come any unto you and bring not this doctrine, Kenneth Copeland, Creflo Dollar, Joel Osteen, T.D. Jakes, I'm going to name y'all favorite preachers, Juanita Bynum, Leroy Thompson, Rod Parsley, what's the lady name in St. Louis? Joyce Myers, Benny Hinn, Brian Carnes, Jamal Bryant, Paul Morton. How about this one? Bishop, what's my boy's name?
Jakes?
No, always talking about the homosexuality in Koji. Bishop Earl Carter. Roll call. Whoever it is, if they are bringing you something different than what the apostle said, he said what? If they come unto you and you bring not this doctrine, receive him not into your house, neither bid him Elohim speed, or bid him well, Cairo. For he that biddeth him well speed is what? A partaker of his evil deeds. See that? So that's why we have to contend for the faith. We can't play games with them. You know, we got to rebuke them with all long suffering, brothers. Sometimes I know it's like a fight. Let them fight, but you shoot a dart at them hard so that they can wake up. They'll try to go spiritual on you, and you go spiritual on them too. I rebuke you with the word of Yah. And you don't blink and don't move. I shall not be moved. They ain't gonna do that with me. Because if they touch me, I'm gonna punch them in Yahshua's name. They don't want that. I just might pull out my gun and shoot them. Nah, I'm kidding. My issue says stop it. All right, I'll be nice. But see, we got to stand. We had to fight. Just like they fight with foolishness and deception, we got to fight with righteousness, brothers and sisters. All right. Now, let's go to one other place here. I got a couple more places. Let's go to Revelation 12. Revelation 12. We're still talking about, we haven't got off this one point of defining what it means, what faith is. All right. So let's go to Revelation chapter 12. Revelation 12. All right. Revelation 12 and verse 17. All right. It said, and the dragon was wroth with the woman. We know who the woman is. The woman is Israel, right? The woman, the dragon was wroth. So the dragon is the devil, Satan. He was wroth with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of Elohim and have the testimony of Yahshua the Messiah. See that? So the dragon was wroth with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of the seed, which keep the commandments and have the testimony of Yahshua. Now here's a question. What is the testimony of Yahshua? Huh? I'm gonna give you a hint. I'm gonna give you a reference. What is the testimony of Yahshua? I'm gonna give you a reference, and then it's going to answer the question. All right. To the law, verse Yoshiyahu, Isaiah chapter 8 and verse 20. All right. This is the testimony, right? To the law and to the testimony. If they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. See, Yakinah said, Yah is light. So walking in darkness is what? Not walking in his testament. So the question is, you got oh man, this is so simple. The testament was called the Ark of the Testament. And I'm going to give you a lot of reading so you can see it in its entirety. The Ark of the Covenant, when the Mosai instructed Moshe to have the priests to design the Ark, what did he put in the Ark? He put in the Ark the rod of Aharon that budded. He put in the shofar, oh my goodness, the manna. The Omer, I think that's what I'm trying to say. That kept the manna, and he put in it what? The tablets of stone, which had what? The Decalogue. See that? So that's the testament. Now the law is everything that the Most High said. Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth. So the law is whatever the Most High said. That's why he said, to the law and the testament. The testament is the 10. The law is all of it. Every specific set of instruction that the Most High gave to Israel is the law. The testament is the 10, which would be more of like the shortened form of the whole law. Okay? Now, that's what the testament is. So we go back. My sister said, she said something. So simply saying the laws are not done away with. There are no new laws or covenant, but a renewing, rebuilding what had been torn down. Right. That's profound. That's what it is. But with the Christian mind, we're taught something different. But we're comparing scripture to scripture, right? Inspired word to inspired word, etc. Writings to writings, manuscript to manuscript, text to text, letter to letter, line upon line, precept upon precept, to get the understanding of what faith is, or Emunah. We haven't even gone to the Old Testament yet, but we're still here using the references here in the Bereaved Kadash on the other side. Okay, now we got a lot more to cover. Okay, now, so let's go back to Revelation. Was it 12 we just read? 12 and 17. Okay. So he said that here's the faith. The dragon was wroth with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of the seed, which keep the commandments of Elohim and have the testimony of Yahshua the Messiah. So the testimony of Yahshua the Messiah was what? Love Yah and love your neighbor. So in other words, those two commandments was a summation of the 10. It wasn't new. It was just a summation. The summation is teaching you how to love, right? We're going to show you specifically what the Messiah said. When they asked him, they said, Messiah, what is the great commandment? Okay, let's see. Hold on. Let's go there right quick. Okay. Matthew 22 and 36. All right, Mativ Yahu 22 and 36. All right. Okay, Mativ Yahu 22 and 36. Let's start at 34. But then the Pharisees had heard that he had put the Sadducees to silence. They were gathered together. Then one of them, which is a lawyer, asked him a question, tempting him and saying, Master, which is the great commandment in Torah? Yahshua said unto him, verse 37, Thou shalt love Yahweh thy Elohim with all thy heart, with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. He said, this is the first and great. And the second is like unto it. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. Then he said, on these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets. Notice he didn't say in the law. He said hang the law. In other words, put it on display. When you hang something, you hang up your curtains. You don't hide your curtains. You hang them up on the curtain rod to display them. But in Christendom, they want you to believe hanging the law means to hide it. That's the hanger. Loving Yah with all your heart and loving your neighbor is the hanger that you're hanging the law. So when you drop that scroll down, on the love side of the Father, you got some commandments. And you go to the other curtain. On the love of the neighbor, you got some commandments. That's what hanging mean. Hanging the law is like a scroll, right? The law's on the scroll. You hang it up, hang the banner on the scroll, and let the blind the blind roll down, right? Hang all the law. All right, now let's go back to Revelation 14 and 12. All right, Revelation 14 and 12. Revelation 14 and 12, it says, here is patience of the saints. Now, the preterists, they want y'all to believe the saints is the church. The church had replaced Israel. That's what I was taught coming up as a kid. And I was so confused about that doctrine because I was like, wait a minute. If the church is the focus of the New Testament, then it's like Israel somewhere else. They have no connection, no relationship, no nothing to this book. Everything is given to the church, right? I was confused by that. I was like, So in other words, all that Old Testament stuff, that was for them. This New Testament stuff is for us, the church. Yeah. And the church was birthed on the day of Pentecost, according to Acts chapter 2. And then we started the Pentecostal church movement. Suddenly came a sound from heaven as a rushing mighty wind, and it filled all the house, right? And that started the Pentecostal movement. So the Pentecostal church, well, the day of Pentecost was the birth of the church, and the church took the place of Israel. And that's what the preterists believe. That's what the Calvinists believe. And most of the doctrine of Christianity basically is connected to that belief. That's why I know who Israel is not relevant to them. That's why I said I made a note here. Let me see. I made a note. I'm gonna get back to the lesson. I made a note here. I like to write things sometimes it is impossible to accurately it is impossible to be accurate in your eschatology if you don't identify true Israel. That's a fact. That was the Most High gave me years ago. The angel of Yah said to me, when you study the people Israel and the city Jerusalem, then you will know the prophecies will open up. Until you put Israel in its proper perspective. And that's the reason why we did a lesson many years ago on the table of nations, to show you who the sons are on the earth. Until you know who the sons are, who the players are in this drama, the prophecies are going to be unclear. Right? So that's what we have to understand. Anybody, whether it be Jehovah's Witness, whether it be Seventh-day Adventists, because they spend a lot of time teaching prophecy, or whether it be Kenneth, Brother Bowie calls him the fat gentleman. Kenneth Hagee. Bowie calls him the fat gentleman. Bowie need to stop with that. I haven't heard Bowie in a while, but I remember one of the last time I heard him talk about it, he called him the fat gentleman. Their prophecies, Jack Van Imp. I've subscribed to a series of videos back in the day from Jack Van Imp trying to explain to me end time, what they call eschatology or prophecy, right? And then you had Tim LaHaye. You heard of Tim LaHaye? He's the one that did the Left Behind series. You've been left behind, right? So their prophecies are all wrong because their focus is on Jerusalem and Israel. So if Israel is back home now, that means you gotta erase all these prophecies, because the prophecy that said the Messiah would gather Israel from the elect from the four corners can't be Israel, because Israel's back home. So because you missed the people, now your prophecies are going to be off because you prophesied based on the wrong people. All right. Now, so Revelation 14:12 says, here is patience of the saints. And the saints we know are Israel. How do we know that? I'm going to give you another reference. I like giving references here. Daniel says what? It says he shall wear out the saints of the Most High. Okay, reference Daniel 7:25. Okay, it says he shall speak great words against the Most High and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until time and times of dividing of time. Okay, so the saints are the children of Israel. That's who the saints is. Now going back to Revelation 14, now it's going to make sense because see, we was taught that the saints was a Catholic pope who died, and 100 years later he becomes known as a saint. And so anybody that's a Christian is called a saint, because after all, Shaul says called to be saints, right? So you saints. You know, I was in Kojic, and we used to go to the convocation, and they had these billboards all up. The saints are coming. The saints are coming. They had them all. As soon as you come off the plane, you go to Memphis to the headquarters of Kojic, you see billboards, saints are coming. You see a little flashing screen, saints are coming. The saints are coming. They were technically right, but their definition of saints had nothing to do with Israel. It had to do with the church, right? All right, so let's go back. So he says, here's patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of Elohim and the faith of Yahshua. See, what does it say about Yahshua? Let's go and see. All right. All right. Ephesians 1:21. Let's look at that right quick and see. Ephesians 1. Uh-oh. Hold on. Ephesians 1. 1:21. All right. It says, far above all principality and power and might and dominion and every name that is named, not only in this world, but also in that which is to come, and have put all things under his feet, and gave him to be the head over all things, the church. See that? So that's what they use. Oh, the church, right? Yeah. Which is the body, the fullness of him that fitteth all in all. Okay, that wasn't the one I wanted. I wanted the one where it said he humbled himself to death. Let's see. Where is that at? Humbled himself to death. I think it's in that same chapter somewhere. Let's see. He humbled himself to death. Humbled himself. Oh, my mercy. Hold on a second.
Philippians 2:8.
Philippians 2:8.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. Himself to the death of the cross.
Yeah. Philippians 2:8. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Philippians 2:8. Let's go up a little bit. Verse 5. Philippians 2:5. Let this mind be in you, which was also in Yahshua HaMashiach, who being in the form of Elohim thought it not robbery to be equal to Elohim, but made himself of no reputation, and took upon himself the form of a servant, and was made in the likeness of men. And being found in fashion as a man, he humbled himself and became obedient unto death, even the death of the cross. Wherefore Elohim have highly exalted him and given him a name which is above every name. Right? That at the name of Yahshua, the King James translators took the name and put a Greek deity in there, Jesus, and gave us Jesus, which is late Latin, and that's where you get Jesus from, right? Okay. No. Jesus is a transliteration of Jesus, not of Yahshua. That's why we don't hold to the name Jesus. It has no connection with Yahshua. Okay? And every tongue that shall confess that Yahshua HaMashiach is the Master to the esteem of the Father. Okay? So he humbled himself. So that's what he's talking about when Yahshua, go back to Revelation 14 and 12. All right. The faith, that's the faith of Yahshua, or the obedience. He humbled himself. He obeyed the Father. Right? He didn't come to seek his own reputation, but he humbled himself unto the will of the Father. Remember, he said when he went to pray, he said, Father, if it be thy will, let this cup pass from me, but nevertheless, he already knew the will. You know how we get. We see the will of the Father, and we want to try to change up the will of the Father. That's what them so-called prophets is doing. The will of the Father was for Joe Biden to win. Now they're trying to change his will by going and doing seances and all of that, and trying to overturn the election, and no fraud has been found, but yet they still continue. But Biden was chosen. Now we're going to find out what all the chosen in him was in days to come. I don't want to say nothing. Some things that I think I might see. There's some things coming. I'm scratching my head. I see some things coming. Somebody said, brother, what you see? Please tell. I ain't saying. I ain't saying. Let me say it this way. It ain't going to be pretty. Those on the far right, the radical, are pissed. They're going to be pissed and mad as hell. And we're going to be endangered. Those that, so we have to be very careful what you say about Trump, because those people have a passion for Trump. They'll fire you. You got to be quiet on your job. If y'all go to corporate America, don't let people know you voted for Biden if you did, or that you're in support of Biden and Kamala Harris, because you might lose your job if they're pro-Trumpers. So be careful. Be very careful with that, right? All right, that's all I'm going to say. I know y'all want maybe one day if the Ruach allows me to go into the prophetic. See, I don't like to open up too much because, woo, I'm trying to tell y'all, it ain't going to be pretty. I seen many years ago, I'll say this much. I saw Israelites, and I don't know if the fullness of that came under this administration or not, but I saw Israelites slain in the streets. And that was about 10 years ago. So, it could have been just, I don't know. But that's what I saw. But not to put fear in anybody. Don't be fearful. Yah's going to protect those that are his. Just be in his will and be in his word, and let Yah guide and direct. Don't be fearful. The fearful shall have their part in the lake of fire. Know with assurance and confidence that Yah's got your back. All right. With that said, let me get back. All right. I don't want nobody to get fearful and start, panicking. Okay. All right. So The faith of Yahshua, right? Okay, now let's go to Revelation 22. The very last one. Revelation 22, very last book, very last chapter of the 66 books. And verse 14. Let's start at 12. And behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me, to give every man according as his work shall be. I am Aleph and Tau. We don't deal with the Greek Alpha and Omega. I am Aleph and Tau, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. Blessed, here it is, here's the kicker, are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life, and that they may enter in through the gates into the city. So, they that do the commandments are they that have the spirit of faith. It takes faith to continue in obedience, even when your flesh and everybody else around you tell you don't have to do all that. You know, we're the new covenant Hebrews now. It's easy to gravitate to that. You want to go to the smorgasbord and have you some all you can eat pig feet and ribs, barbecue pork ribs smothered in barbecue and what's the man named the barbecue sauce everybody like down the south, what's his name? Was it Baby Ray's?
I think so.
Baby Ray's. And the Hebrews, they want to eat that. They want to get them little jumbo shrimp and dip it in butter and carry it on. We new covenant. We'll have to abide by that law. We eat the gourmet food, right? Nah. Okay. So, going back to our definition. So we find the word for faith or pistis, which means to rely upon Yahshua for salvation, and it also means to convince, to convict, and it means credence, to believe. Okay. Now, with that said, let's read James 2:18. Yaakov, James 2:18. Okay, in conjunction with that. So, Yaakov or James 2:18. All right. Let's go up a little bit. Let's start at 14. What is a prophet, my brethren, though a man say that he has faith and have not works? Can faith save him? If a brother or a sister be naked and destitute of daily food, and one of you say to them, depart in peace, my brother. Be ye warm, my brother, and be filled with food, my brother. And notwithstanding you give them not the things which are needful to the body, what does it profit? Because that man or that woman is still going to walk away hungry, right? Cold, right? And have need. Okay, watch the next verse here. Even so, faith, if it have no works, is dead, being alone. Okay, what's the word for dead? Necros. This is a corpse. So, that's funny. Your faith is a corpse without works. Okay. Even so, faith, if it have no works, it is a corpse, being alone. Yes, a man may say, thou hast faith, and I have works. Show me thy faith without thy works, and I will show thee my faith by my works. Ooh, look at that. See, that's Yaakov. He anointed, right? He said, show me, I will show you my faith by my works. He said, oh, here it is. Oh, they say, oh, faith just means believing, right? Okay, he got an answer for that. Watch this. Thou believest that there is one Elohim, thou does well. The devils also believe and tremble. But, remember I said, you see that word but, it's some kicking going on? But wilt thou know, O vain man, that faith without works is a corpse, or is dead, right? All right. What was Abraham? Was not Abraham our father justified by works when he had offered Isaac his son upon the altar? Huh? Seest thou how that faith wrought his works, and by works was faith made perfect? How about that? And the scriptures was fulfilled, which says, Abraham believed Elohim, and it was imputed to him for righteousness, and he was called the friend of Elohim. 24. You see how that by works a man is justified, not by faith only. Likewise, also was Rahab, the harlot, you're going to say the whore. The same thing, right? Justified by works when she received the messengers and had sent them out another way. For as the body without the spirit is dead, it's a corpse, right? So a body without the spirit is a corpse. It is dead. So faith without works is also dead. So faith with no works is a corpse. So the gift of faith is the ability to have a corresponding action with your profession, which leads us to the next word, which says credence. The word for pistis also is credence, which you believe. So your belief has to have what? A moral conviction. The laws of Yah, love your neighbor, is a moral conviction, not a thought. All right. Now, my sister says, Yachanah 14 and 12. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believe on me, that works I do, shall he do also. Faith is an action word. That's correct. She said, am I on the right road? They had a song when I was a kid called On the Right Road Now. Remember that song? No, I'm on the right road now, on the right road now, on the right road now, you know I'm on. Okay, all right. Okay. Oh my man, that's a loaded question. That's going to get us to go a whole other direction. Somebody said, who the two witnesses? Like, listen, okay, hold that to the end, man. Whew, man, hold that to the end. Oh my mercy. We'll be on here for 3 hours talking about that one. Okay. Kai Hai. Shabbat Shalom. Kai Hai. All right. Hey, Shabbat Shalom, Makoti, Sandra. All right. Now, so prayerfully, that cleared up our definition, but let's add a little more to it. All right. Let's add a little more to it. Let's look at Hebrews right quick. All right, what time is it? All right, I got to move expeditiously now. Hebrews chapter 11. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So faith, believing, and having a corresponding action, faith is the substance. It's quite simple. Faith, or the definition, obeying the commandments of Yah, the testament of Yah, the law of the testament, is the substance. How do we know? All right. If we go to Deuteronomy chapter 28, he clears it up. So we're saying faith is the substance. Obeying the law, statutes, and commandments is the substance of things hoped for. Now we're going to show you in Deuteronomy 28 so you can see what we're talking about. We're going to tie these things together, brothers and sisters. Now let's go to Deuteronomy 28. All right. Hallelujah. All right, 28, verse 1. Verse 1, 28:1. It shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of Yahweh, thy Elohim, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that Yahweh, thy Elohim, will set thee on high above all nations. See that? And all these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee. We're going to win and keep winning. We're going to get tired of winning. That's what they said about Trump, right? And all these blessings shall come and overtake thee, if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of Yahweh the Elohim. Blessed shalt thou be in the city, and blessed shalt thou be in the field, and blessed shall be the fruit of thy body, and the fruit of thy ground, and the fruit of thy cattle, and the increase of thy kind, and the flock of thy sheep. I sound like Paul White. Strike. I was doing my hand like that. I saw Paul White going strike. Blessed shalt thou be, and blessed shall be the fruit of thy body, the fruit of thy ground, and the fruit of thy cattle, and the increase of thy kind, and the flocks of thy sheep. Blessed shall be thy basket and thy store. Verse 6, blessed shalt thou be when thou comest in, and blessed shalt thou be when thou goest out. Yahweh shall cause thine enemies to rise up against thee, to be smitten before thy face. They shall come out against thee one way, and flee before thee 7 ways. And Yahweh shall command the blessings upon thee in thy storehouses, and in all that thou set thy hand to do unto, and he shall bless thee in the land which Yahweh the Elohim giveth thee. And Yahweh shall establish thee a Kodesh people unto himself, as he hath sworn unto thee, if thou shalt do what? Keep the commandments of Yahweh the Elohim, and walk in his ways. And all the people of the earth shall see that thou art called by the name of Yahweh, and shall be afraid of thee. And Yahweh shall make thee plenteous in goods, and the fruit of thy body, and the fruit of thy cattle, and the fruit of thy ground, and the land and which Yahweh swore unto thy fathers to give unto thee. And Yahweh shall open unto thee his good treasure, the heavens, to give the rain unto his land in his season, and bless all the work of thine hands. And thou shalt lend to many nations, and thou shalt not borrow. And Yahweh shall make thee the head and not the tail. Thou shalt be above only, and thou shalt not be beneath, if thou hearken unto the commandments of Yahweh thy Elohim, which I command thee this day to observe and to do them. 14. And thou shalt not go aside from any of the words which I command thee this day, to the right hand or to the left, to go after other deities to serve them. So, what are we saying? To the law and to the testament. See that? See how it works? So, that's what he's saying. That is what the Most High is saying. All right? That's what faith, the substance of faith is. It is obeying what the Most High said, that what? That we could have substance. Okay? Faith is the substance of things that we desire, and a faith or walking in the agreement in obedience to the law, statutes, commandments is the substance of things that we hope for, and it is the evidence of things that we don't see. So when we understand that faith is obeying, then we will see what? Substance. That's it in a nutshell. If you are obeying Yah, you should have an expectance of substance in the lands of captivity. All right. So now we can go through the rest of the chapter, which I'm not going to do it, and see everybody that he calls them that had faith. Everybody that had faith did something. They didn't just believe, they did something, right? Now, since I didn't spend a lot of time on the first half, so let's zoom in on verse 2. It says, for by it the elders by faith, it just gets clearer and clearer the more you read it, right? Right, Brother Frank? For by it the elders obtain a good report. By what? Obeying the law, statutes, commandments, the elders obtain a good report. So when you disobey the law, statutes, and commandments, you obtain an evil report, an evil heart of disobedience. Right? I think that's somewhere. Was that Hebrews? This is an evil heart of disobedience. All right. See, you want to find that somewhere? I keep saying this, so maybe we need to read it. So the evil heart of disobedience is the opposite of faith. So when you say, "Oh, brother, I don't have to keep that law. All I gotta do is just believe in Jesus." Hey, right? And you feel good when you get finished doing all that. Then you wanna jump up and start shouting, and put the music on, getting emotional. And don't get me wrong, it's nothing wrong with you expressing your emotions, but let's express the emotions in truth, not in falsehood. The Messiah said, the Father is seeking for such to worship him in spirit and in truth. Truth means what? Whatever the Most High said is his truth. His word is truth. Right? Not the word of your pastor or the word of your preacher, the word of your bishop, or word of your pope, or whoever, but the word of the Most High is a sure foundation, right? All right. Still looking for that? It's an evil heart. Let's see. I think it's Hebrews. Oh, it's chapter 3. I got that here. There, yeah. Hebrews 3 and 12. I'm in Hebrews. So let's look at 3. Somebody got Crystal got it. Hey, Shabbat Shalom, Crystal. Hallelujah. Good to see you. Praise Yah for you. All right. Now, Hebrews 3 and 12. All right, 3 and 12. Oh, let's start at 7. Wherefore, as the Ruach, the Kadash, I like this. He's an elder of mine. He's deceased. He's departed his life, but he's waiting for the resurrection. But he used to always say, we say Ruach Kadesh. He said Kadesh Ruach. Nobody can say it like him. Wherefore, as the Kadash Ruach, that's what he says today, if you will hear his voice, harden not your hearts, as in the provocation in the day of temptation in the wilderness. Oh man, that's bringing that home, isn't it? Isn't that bringing it home? What was the provocation in the wilderness? Who knows? Y'all listening listening live. What was the provocation in the day of temptation in the wilderness he's talking about? He says, wherefore, as the Kadash Ruach says today, if you will hear his voice, harden not your hearts as in the provocation. All right, I'll give you a little clue. The irritation, the word parapikrasmos is Greek. Irritation is defined as to embitter alongside, that is, exasperate, provoke. So he says, in the provocation in the day of temptation in the wilderness. Anybody got a clue? What was the day? What was the provocation in the? I'll give you a hint. It had something to do with idolatry, right? Remember when Moshe went up to the mountain and he heard the people down there making all that noise because they rejected the Most High's call to them being the kingdom of priests, right? But then now he heard the sound, right? And then what did he do? He said, told Moshe, go down there. The people have corrupted themselves. He went down there. And the assistant pastor was down there building an altar to Baal. Took all everybody's money. He took an offering. He collected tithes and offerings and then built an altar to Baal, the golden calf. It's a parallel, right? The prophets that the Most High sent to lead the people back to obeying the Most High's law, statutes, and commandments are up in the mountains seeking Yah. See, people that want to call themselves prophets, the prophets wasn't people, average, ordinary people. They wasn't hanging, congregating around with the people calling themselves a prophet. They went up to the mountains away from the people and came down to get the word and went back to the mountains. But the people, because Moshe had went up to the mountain to get the word, because the Most High wanted them all to have the word. He wanted them all. If you notice, when in Exodus 19, the Most High told Moshe, bring them up to the mountain. So when you go up to the mountain, you go up to the mountain to get the instructions for the nations. So while he was up in the mountain in the day of provocation, the people was down there corrupting themselves, right? Let's pull it up real quick.
I thought you was going to say it was murmuring and complaining.
Yeah, right. Okay, so it's chapter 32, right quick. All right, let's go to chapter 32 right quick. Okay. Let's see. Let's start at verse 1. See, these same people they all said, oh, well, all he said we will do, brother, we're going to do. And verse 20, they said, all that you say we're going to do right now, verse 1 in 32:1. He said, when the people saw that Moshe delayed to come down out of the mountain, the people gathered themselves together unto Aharon and said to him, up. What's that word, up? Rise. In other words, you wimpy assistant pastor, you listen to him. Why can't you give us a word? And how you do, somebody, a prophet, give them a word to do what's right. They don't want to hear that. They want to find that prophet's going to tell them, it's going to patch them up, make them feel good. Jesus is okay. You can say Jesus and Yahshua. It's okay. See, when I get finished stepping on toes and cracking them knuckles on Jesus, some people, because they got Jesus on the brain, they got Jesus and they have a Jesus addiction. So when they did go over to that Hebrew Israelite moray, that says it's all right to say Jesus and Yahshua. It's just a language barrier. He understands, right? So that's what they did with Moshe. Moshe came down, bam, thou shalt have no others before me. They're like, ooh, it's okay for us to have a little bit of pork. It's all right to have a little bit of shrimp, a little bit of lobster. We can, the Most High, the Lord understands, right? So Moshe was up there. He like, look, this is too much for me to bear. You sent me down with these people, and so you wanted me to bring them out so you can make them a kingdom of priests. But now they got me stuck in the middle. Now I'm the one that's dictating to them everything. So he like probably up there sweating and probably up there praying and fighting with the Most High, saying, can you please help me out? And that's when the Most High gave him 70. But let me get back. So when the people saw Moshe delayed to come out of the mountain, the people gathered themselves together and said to Aharon unto him, get up, you lazy man, make us deities which shall go before us. For as this Moshe, they got an attitude, the man that brought us out of the land of plenty. We had plenty in Egypt, brother. We had good jobs. We had 6-figure incomes. We had condos and we had single family homes and whatnot. We was driving around. We had Lamborghinis and Rolls Royces and Mercedes Benz, Oh man, he said we had I'm adding live. We had big screen TVs and whatnot, and we was living large, man. But he done brought us out here, this land of Egypt. He said, would not that what is becoming him? We don't know what he up there doing, Yeah, if you could talk, we don't know what that preacher up, what that man up there doing. So Aharon said to them, break off the golden earrings which are in the ears of your wives, your sons, and your daughters, and bring them to me, right? So in other words, what these prostrate preachers say, if it's not your harvest, it's your seed. Sow it to me. Take that seed and sow it. If you need 10,000 and you only got 5,000, sow that 5,000 to this ministry, because that's your seed is not meeting your need, right? Y'all heard that before, right? I came out of the Word of Faith. I was in that circle, right? So going back. So Aharon said, break off your golden earrings, which are in your ears, of your wives, your sons, your daughters, and bring them to me. Verse 3, and all the people broke off the golden earrings which were in their ears and brought them to Aharon. Verse 4, he received them at their hand and fashioned it, giving tools after he had made it a molten calf. And they said, these be the gods of Israel, which brought us out of the land of Egypt. Kind of reminds me of the story of Abraham when his father Terah was making them idols. And he said, these are the gods that brought us. So Israel said, these be the gods of Israel that brought us up out of the land of Egypt. And when Aharon saw it, he built an altar before it, and Aharon made proclamation and said, tomorrow is the feast of Yahweh. They're going to make a feast of Yahweh on the golden calf, right? And they rose up early on the morrow and offered burnt offerings and brought peace offerings. The people sat down and ate and drank and rose up to play. And Yahweh said to Moshe, go get thee down, for thy people which thou brought out of Egypt have corrupted themselves. That's the provocation. They have corrupted themselves. They have turned aside quickly out of the way which I commanded them. They made them molten calves, and they worshipped it, and they sacrificed thereunto, and said, these be the gods, O Israel, which have brought thee up out of Egypt. Man, the Most High was pissed off with them because of that. The same thing that Israel's doing that are not aware of Israel are worshiping Ashtoreth, the deity, and Saturnalia, or Sol Invictus, the sun, on the sun's birthday, December the 25th. Do you know that a mutation, oh my mercy, this is just to show you the Most High is angry with the wicked. The coronavirus mutated the same week. It might have been Christmas Eve. It mutated in UK. And it mutated in South Africa. And it might, and all those people that was in UK, they shut down Christmas. Those people got on planes and came to America. There's another wave coming, brothers and sisters. Why? Because the stiff-necked, disobedient people still want to worship and serve Baal. They want to serve Baal by all means. I could resist that one. All right, let's go back. So it says the people, verse 8, turn aside quickly out of the way which I command them. They have made them molten calf and worship it, and have sacrificed thereunto, and said, these be the gods that brought us out of Israel, brought us out of Egypt. Verse 9. And Yahweh said to Moses, I have seen this people, and behold, it is a stiff-necked people. Other words, y'all heard that neck root prep. Neck root prep. That's Father Christmas. Neck root prep. Stiff neck. Neck root prep. Look him up. Father Christmas. All right. They were serving the deities of fertility.